The whole tour has amazing scenery throughout. I'm going to pick out just two regions as examples now, Karnataka and Coorg. Karnataka is a lovely, rich, fertile region with lush countryside and fascinating scenes as we drive along. The colours are so vivid. You'll see many birds and animals. I saw wild boar, black-faced monkeys, long-tailed monkeys, deer, donkeys, and even a wild bull elephant crossing the road. That was amazing. Karnataka has India's highest population of tigers, and part of our journey goes through a nature reserve, so who knows what we'll see. And Karnataka is heaven for anyone interested in birds. Part of our journey includes a visit to a highly regarded bird sanctuary, and since we're travelling at this time of year, it will be perfect for us to be able to see the winter migrating birds. Whilst I was researching this tour, I noticed lots and lots of butterflies. Now, the butterfly population in the UK has declined in recent years, so these butterflies really stood out. And the next day I read an article in the local paper about how the migrating butterflies in the area have really increased. And now let me come on to what I consider to be a highlight of the tour, which is the Coorg region. It's known as the Scotland of India, and when I heard that I thought, is it now? We'll see about that. But actually it is like Scotland. I can see what they mean with the completely unspoiled pine-clad mountains and the pristine scenery. It's also an important area for coffee growing, and we'll be visiting a coffee plantation during our stay. One of the highlights of Coorg is that we'll be staying at an incredible hotel. It's set in 180 acres of living rainforest, and yet it only has 63 rooms. The views are incredible. It's absolutely unique, and I think you'll love it. The beauty is that you can just enjoy relaxing and taking in the views, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is put on some wellies. Don't worry, you don't need to pack them. The hotel has plenty of sizes of wellies, and go out for a walk through those forests. We'll be accompanied by what they call a forest insider, someone who really knows about nature, about birds, plant life, and the unique ecosystem that comes from a rainforest. And one of those people is Abishek Jain. Let's see if we can say hello to him now. Hello Abishek, namaste.
Hi, namaste.
How are you?
Good, I'm doing great.
Good, that's excellent. Now Abishek, can you tell me how it is that you came to be so passionate about birds and plants and nature and wildlife?
So I went to a very interesting school that's situated 50 kilometers outside Bangalore, a big city. And so I spent a lot of time trekking and exploring the forest within the campus and also the forest that touches our school.
Oh, yes.
And the aim of the school is to actually help the students find out what they truly love doing.
Yes.
So I was given a lot of time and opportunity to actually, I could even bunk classes and actually go and explore the forest and follow what I like doing.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons, I think one of the reasons why I really got interested in nature.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. What is it about Madikeri in particular and the forests around the hotel that we'll be staying at that is so exciting?
One thing we have to remember about Madikeri or Coorg is it's actually one of the biodiversity hotspots of India.
Wow.
Because of the Western Ghats, which is a range of hills on the western coast of India, we get a lot of rainfall in this region. So this range of mountains actually stops the monsoon or the clouds that come from the sea, and we get a lot of rainfall. And that's one of the key things that actually make Coorg very interesting. We get a lot of rainfall, and the hills are not very steep. So we have these kind of soft rolling hills with small pockets of forest. And on many of the higher hills, it's actually with grasslands, covered with grasslands.
Yeah.
So you get two very different ecosystems that meet in one place.
Now, one thing that I'd like to talk to you about is when I come back with my group, which will be in November this year, what sort of things are we likely to see?
So actually, when you come, it's actually a great time, which is just after the monsoon. So the forest is really truly alive. I think it's one of the best times to see the forest in Coorg. Everything is green. All the organisms are fully awake and
Yeah.
active. So we'll be going through some very beautiful, untouched pockets of rainforest, where we'll actually go and see a sacred grove. There's a nice temple inside the forest,
Oh, yes.
and we'll see how the local people are actually protecting these pockets of forest.
Yes. Now, I know that birds are a particular passion of yours, aren't they, Abhishek?
Yeah, definitely. From a very young age, I've been interested in birds,
Yeah.
but I really learned a lot actually from a British bird watcher.
Ah,
He from Wales, Alan Morley, he's from Wales, and he had come to school and spent a week doing birding with us. And I was so fascinated by it that I asked my school if I can go away for a month, travel with him in India, and see birds. Yeah.
and you're writing some books at the moment, I understand.
Yeah, one is on wild orchids, and the other is a bit like a coffee table book on the Western Ghats, where I'm trying to cover the smaller known organisms, not just the big tigers, elephants, but smaller. We have very, very beautiful frogs within the property. So when you come, we probably can go for a walk within the property where we can see anywhere between 20 to 30 frogs.
Ah,
We have a lot of frogs, a lot of orchids within the property which
yeah.
you get to see
Well,
when you come.
actually, it's very interesting that you should mention frogs because when I was staying at the hotel, I left early one morning and as I opened my door, I noticed a couple of leaves outside that had blown there in the night. And one of them, very strange, and it was sort of green, but I thought, what's a sort of frog-shaped leaf? And I bent down to have a look at it and discovered that in fact it wasn't a frog-shaped leaf at all. It was about the size of my thumbnail, but a little green frog. What sort of frog do you think that might have been?
It's probably called the winged gliding frog, and they're actually quite endangered.
Oh,
But we've actually built two ponds specifically to help these frogs breed.
oh,
It's really interesting because this frog spends most of its life high up in the canopy of the trees, but just during the monsoon, they come down to plants that are overhanging water bodies, and here they build home nests. It's actually the only nest building frog that you will see in Asia.
so my final question is about the walks that we're going to do. Obviously, it's quite steep around the hotel, but we're not going to be going mountaineering, are we?
No, definitely not. We have many different trails in the property. We'll do one that goes in the valley. So we'll be walking, in the valley that connects a lot of these hills. So it should be very easy, a bit like
Lovely.
a stroll in the
Yeah.
park.
Now
Nothing difficult,
that sounds
except we'll be
wonderful.
going through beautiful rainforest.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I can't wait. Abhishek, thank you so much for talking to us today, and I look forward to seeing you later this year. Namaste,
Yeah,
goodbye.
namaste, goodbye. See you soon. Bye.